Self-improvement is the most personal and powerful journey you can embark on. It is not something that happens overnight, nor is it something that others can do for you. The only way to start self-improvement is through a conscious decision to change, starting within yourself. Everything begins with a choice to grow, to evolve, and to become more than you are today. The starting point of all self-improvement lies within the mind. Every transformation, whether great or small, begins not with external action, but with an internal shift in consciousness. The world you experience is a reflection of your inner state, and as such, the foundation for any meaningful change in your life begins with your thoughts, feelings, and imagination. It is often said that the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. This means that everything you perceive in your external reality is a manifestation of your dominant inner beliefs and assumptions. The circumstances you face, the relationships you have, and the opportunities or challenges that arise in your life are all shaped by your inner dialogue. If you wish to alter these circumstances, the transformation must begin within you. The seed of change must be planted deep in your mind and nurtured through your imagination. Your imagination is the most powerful tool for self-improvement. The human mind is inherently creative, capable of visualizing new realities and generating experiences that do not yet exist in the physical world. When you imagine yourself as something more, something greater, you are planting the seed of that possibility in your consciousness. In this mental soil, every thought and image you dwell upon begins to take root, growing and eventually manifesting in your outer life. It's important to recognize that the imagination does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. Your subconscious mind accepts every image and feeling you impress upon it as truth. When you consistently focus on a particular vision or feeling, your subconscious mind goes to work to bring that vision into reality. This is the essence of planting the seed of change. You deliberately choose the thoughts, emotions, and images that represent the life you want to live, and over time they grow into your lived experience. The key to initiating self-improvement is to consciously direct your imagination. Most people allow their minds to wander aimlessly, reacting to circumstances and situations without realizing that they are continually planting seeds of the same reality they are dissatisfied with. If you want to create a new reality, you must first become aware of your habitual thoughts and assumptions. Are you imagining yourself as capable, confident, and successful? Or do you dwell on thoughts of lack, failure, and doubt? The seed of change is planted the moment you decide to shift your focus from what you don't want to what you do want. One of the most profound aspects of this process is that the change does not happen outside of you, it happens within. Before anything can change in your external life, there must be a corresponding change in your inner world. It's not enough to simply wish for a different life. You must actively engage your imagination to experience that life in your mind first. You must see yourself already in possession of the qualities, resources, and experiences you desire. When you do this consistently, you are watering the seed of change, giving it the nourishment it needs to grow. This internal shift requires practice and discipline. The mind is accustomed to thinking in certain patterns, many of which have been formed over years of conditioning. These patterns create the reality you are familiar with, and breaking free from them can be challenging. However, just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your new thoughts and beliefs require time to take root and flourish. You must persist in your new vision, even when external circumstances have not yet changed. Trust that as you nurture this seed of change in your imagination, it is already growing beneath the surface. Another essential aspect of planting the seed of change is to embrace the feeling of your desired outcome. It's not enough to merely think about what you want. You must feel as though it is already yours. Feeling is the creative force that accelerates the manifestation of your vision. When you combine thought with emotion, you engage both the conscious and subconscious mind, creating a powerful force of attraction. The more vividly and consistently you can feel yourself as the person you aspire to be, the more rapidly the seed of change will grow. This process requires a deep level of trust in the unseen forces at work. Just as a seed planted in the ground will sprout in its own time, so too will your inner vision manifest when the conditions are right. You cannot force growth. You can only create the ideal environment for it to happen. by focusing your thoughts and feelings on the desired outcome. You create an inner environment that supports the manifestation of your goals. Over time, this consistent inner work will begin to shape your external reality. The imagination is the garden of the mind, and every thought you think is a seed. You have the power to choose which seed you plant. Do you plant seeds of limitation and fear, or do you plant seeds of abundance, joy, and success? The choice is always yours, and the moment you make that choice, the process of self-improvement begins. Once the seed of change is planted, it will grow according to the attention and care you give it. The concept of responsibility in the realm of self-improvement is one of the most profound realizations a person can come to. It is the understanding that you and you alone are the creator of your experiences. Every thought you hold, every belief you nurture, and every assumption you make is actively shaping your reality. To assume responsibility for your creation means accepting that everything in your life, whether favorable or not, has been brought into existence by your consciousness. This truth may be uncomfortable at first, but it is the key to unlocking your power. When you realize that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state, you stop attributing your circumstances to chance, fate, or the actions of others. Instead, you see that everything originates from within. It is your beliefs, feelings, and assumptions that give rise to the conditions and events of your life. This is not a process of blame, but one of empowerment. Blame implies helplessness, while responsibility implies control. By taking responsibility for what you have created, you also claim the power to create something new. The idea of personal responsibility can be a challenge because it requires you to confront areas of your life where you may feel powerless or victimized. It can be tempting to believe that certain hardships or disappointments are caused by forces outside your control. However, as long as you hold on to this belief, you relinquish your ability to change. The act of assuming responsibility does not mean that you consciously chose every event or difficulty in your life, but it does mean that at some level of consciousness, through your dominant thoughts, assumptions, or fears, you have participated in the creation of your current reality. Once you accept that you are the creator of your experiences, you open the door to limitless possibilities for change. The circumstances you face today are the result of past thoughts and beliefs. They are not fixed, they are fluid, constantly being molded by the energy you project from within. When you take responsibility for your creation, you begin to understand that the future is not something that happens to you. It is something you are continuously shaping. This awareness gives you the power to consciously choose the life you want to live. One of the most liberating aspects of assuming responsibility for your creation is realizing that you no longer need to wait for external conditions to improve before you can feel better or make progress. The external world is merely a mirror of your internal state. When you change how you think and feel, the reflection must change accordingly. If you are dissatisfied with any aspect of your life, the solution is not to fight or resist the external condition, but to shift your internal state. By aligning your thoughts and emotions with the reality you wish to create, you set in motion the forces that will bring that reality into being. Taking responsibility for your creation also involves releasing the need to control other people or external circumstances. Often people become frustrated when things do not go their way, blaming others or the environment for their setbacks. However, this approach keeps you in a cycle of frustration because it places the source of your power outside of yourself. When you assume responsibility, you recognize that no one else has the power to dictate your experience unless you allow them to. The way others treat you, the opportunities that come your way, and even the challenges you face are all reflections of your inner state of being. By changing yourself, you change the way the world responds to you. This process of assuming responsibility requires you to become highly aware of your inner dialogue. The thoughts you think most often, the beliefs you hold as truths, and the emotional patterns you live by are the building blocks of your reality. For many, these thoughts and beliefs operate on autopilot, running in the background without much conscious awareness. But to create lasting change, you must bring these subconscious patterns into the light of awareness. Only by identifying and reshaping your habitual thoughts can you create a new and improved reality. Responsibility also extends to the way you interpret and respond to life's challenges. Every difficulty you encounter is an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of viewing obstacles as reasons to give up or as proof of failure, view them as signs that you are being given the chance to strengthen your resolve and refine your focus. When you assume responsibility for your creation, you stop reacting emotionally to setbacks and start using them as fuel for your transformation. You ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? How can I use this to become more aligned with my desired outcome? Another key aspect of taking responsibility is the realization that the power to change is always available to you, no matter how entrenched a particular situation may seem. It is never too late to shift your consciousness and, in doing so, create a new experience. Many people feel trapped by their past choices or long-standing patterns, believing that certain aspects of their lives are too far gone to change. However, the moment you take responsibility, you also acknowledge that the past does not have to dictate the future. The only moment that matters is the present, and in this moment you have the power to think a new thought, assume a new belief, and feel a new emotion. To assume responsibility for your creation is not a burden, but a gift. It is the realization that you are not a passive participant in life, you are the author of your story. You can rewrite the script at any time, starting with the thoughts you choose to entertain and the emotions you choose to feel. When you take full ownership of your creative power, you stop living by default and start living by design. One of the most important steps in self-improvement is defining with clarity and precision the person you wish to become. This concept is simple, but incredibly powerful. You cannot achieve what you do not first clearly imagine. Many people struggle to make progress in life because their vision of who they want to be is vague or incomplete. Without a clear image of the self you aspire to, it becomes difficult to align your thoughts, actions, and emotions toward that outcome. Precision in defining your desired self is the key to creating a focused and deliberate path toward transformation. The process begins with an honest self-assessment. Before you can create a new version of yourself, it's important to examine where you currently are. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What habits, beliefs, or behaviors are holding you back? This self-awareness allows you to see where the gaps exist between your current self and the version of you that you wish to embody. It is in this gap that the work of transformation begins. Once you've identified these areas, you can begin to consciously define who you want to become in clear, specific terms. When you define your desired self, you must go beyond generalizations. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. These are broad concepts that lack the specificity needed to guide you effectively. Instead, you must break down these ideas into tangible characteristics, traits, and behaviors. For example, if you desire success, ask yourself, what does success look like for you? Is it financial independence, professional recognition, or a balanced personal life? The more detailed your definition, the easier it will be to internalize and embody that vision. I think about every aspect of the person you want to become. What kind of mindset does your desired self have? How does this version of you handle challenges or setbacks? How do they interact with others? What are their daily habits and routines? The goal is to create a vivid, multidimensional picture of your ideal self, one that you can refer back to and use as a guide. Each detail contributes to the overall image and strengthens your ability to hold that vision in your mind. When you are specific, you give your mind a clear blueprint to follow. One of the challenges many people face in this process is the fear of aiming too high. They may feel that defining a grand vision of themselves is unrealistic or too difficult to achieve. However, it is essential to resist the temptation to limit your vision based on your current circumstances or perceived limitations. The act of defining your desired self is not about focusing on what seems possible right now. It's about tapping into the full potential of who you could be. You must allow yourself the freedom to dream big, even if the path to that version of yourself is not immediately clear. As you define your desired self, it is equally important to infuse your vision with emotion. The mind does not respond only to words or images, it responds most powerfully to feelings. When you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, Try to capture the emotions that accompany that vision. How would you feel if you were living as your desired self right now? Would you feel confident, fulfilled, joyful, or empowered? These emotions are the fuel that brings your vision to life. They are the vibrational energy that aligns you with the reality you want to create. Another important aspect of defining your desired self is understanding that this version of you already exists within your consciousness. The process of becoming is not about acquiring something external or changing who you fundamentally are. It's about uncovering and aligning with the highest expression of yourself. The qualities you admire, the life you wish to live, and the person you aspire to be are all within you right now, waiting to be brought forth. When you define your desired self with precision, you are activating those latent aspects of your being. To strengthen your definition, it's helpful to write down your vision. Putting your thoughts on paper makes them tangible and gives them structure. Create a detailed description of your desired self, focusing on every key area of your life: personal, professional, emotional, and relational. This written account becomes a reference point, a clear roadmap that you can return to whenever you feel uncertain or off course. The act of writing solidifies your vision and signals to your subconscious mind that this is the new standard you are setting for yourself. It's also important to visualize your desired self regularly. Visualization is a powerful tool because it allows you to practice living as your ideal self in the safety of your mind. The more often you vividly imagine yourself in this new role, the more familiar and natural it will become. Over time, your mind will begin to accept this vision as your reality, and you will notice that your thoughts, actions, and even external circumstances start to align with this new self-image. Visualization creates a mental rehearsal for your transformation. The precision with which you define your desired self will determine the speed and effectiveness of your self-improvement journey. A clear and detailed vision serves as both a goal and a guide. It informs your decisions, influences your behaviors, and shapes your experiences. Without this clarity, you may find yourself drifting, making progress in some areas, but lacking the direction to make consistent, lasting change. Persistence in the feeling of your new self is the cornerstone of transformation. To truly embody the changes you desire, you must not only define your new self with precision, but also continually align your inner state, your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions with that new identity. This process requires unwavering dedication to maintaining the feeling of being the person you wish to become. It is not enough to momentarily glimpse this new self. You must persist in the feeling, letting it saturate every part of your being until it becomes your natural state. The feeling of your new self is not something to be put on like a mask or a temporary costume. It must become an intrinsic part of how you see yourself and how you navigate the world. You begin by vividly imagining what it would feel like to live as this new version of yourself. Once you identify that feeling, you must hold on to it as often as possible. Your emotions are a powerful guide. They reflect the state of consciousness you are in at any given moment. By cultivating the feeling of your new self, you signal to your subconscious mind that this is the reality you intend to experience. Persistence is key, because your current self-concept, the one you've likely lived with for years, will not easily give way. It is deeply ingrained in your thoughts, habits, and assumptions. The old self will try to reassert itself, often through habitual negative thoughts, doubts, or fears. This is where many people falter. They begin to feel the shift toward their desired self. But when old patterns resurface, they revert to their former state of being. To persist in the feeling of your new self, you must consciously reject these old thoughts and behaviors whenever they arise. Each time you notice yourself slipping back into the mindset of your old self, gently but firmly guide your focus back to the feeling of your new self. It is important to understand that persistence is not about forcing or struggling to maintain the feeling. It is a gentle, steady commitment to staying in alignment with your desired state. When doubts or fears creep in, acknowledge them without resistance, but do not give them power by dwelling on them. Instead, shift your focus back to the feeling of already being the person you want to be. This act of mental discipline requires patience and practice, but over time it will become easier. As you persist in the feeling of your new self, Your mind will begin to accept this new identity as your reality. The power of feeling lies in its ability to influence your subconscious mind. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to the emotional intensity of your thoughts and feelings. When you persist in the feeling of your new self, you are impressing this new identity onto your subconscious, which then begins to shape your outer world to match. This is why it is crucial to maintain the feeling consistently. Sporadic moments of feeling good or hopeful will not produce lasting change. It is the sustained, persistent feeling of your new self that creates the transformation. In practical terms, persisting in the feeling of your new self means living as if you are already that person in your everyday life. This does not mean pretending or acting inauthentically, but rather aligning your inner state with the version of yourself you are becoming. Ask yourself, how would I think, feel, and behave if I were already the person I desire to be? How would I respond to challenges? How would I interact with others? By consistently choosing thoughts and emotions that align with your new self, you gradually begin to embody that identity. Another important aspect of persistence is maintaining faith in the process, even when external evidence may suggest otherwise. In the early stages of your transformation, it is possible that your outer circumstances may not immediately reflect the inner changes you are making. This is where many people give up. They expect instant results and become discouraged when they don't see immediate evidence of their new reality. However, it is crucial to remember that your external world is a reflection of your past thoughts and feelings. There is often a time lag between your inner shift and its manifestation in the outer world. During this period, persistence is essential. You must continue to live in the feeling of your new self, trusting that the outer world will eventually catch up. One of the greatest challenges in persisting in the feeling of your new self is staying focused on your desired state when confronted with current circumstances that seem to contradict it. For example, if you are trying to embody a state of abundance but are facing financial difficulties, it can be difficult to maintain the feeling of prosperity. However, this is precisely the time when persistence is most important. Instead of reacting to your current circumstances, remind yourself that they are the result of past thinking and feeling. Your job is not to fix the external world directly, but to maintain the inner state of abundance, knowing that the outer world will shift accordingly. To aid in this persistence, it can be helpful to engage in daily practices that reinforce the feeling of your new self. Visualization is one such tool. Spend time each day vividly imagining yourself, living as the person you desire to be. Engage all your senses in this process, see, hear, and feel yourself in this new reality. The more real and detailed your visualization, the stronger the feeling will be. Another helpful practice is positive self-talk. Throughout the day, speak to yourself in a way that reflects your new identity. Affirmations such as "I am confident," "I am successful," or "I am abundant" can help reinforce the feeling of your new self. In addition to these practices, it is important to surround yourself with environments and people that support your new identity. Your surroundings can have a powerful influence on your mindset, so choose environments that reflect the person you want to become. If your current environment feels out of alignment with your desired self, make small changes that help bring it into harmony with your new state of being. This could mean decluttering your space, adopting new habits, or spending time with people who embody the qualities you wish to cultivate. Persisting in the feeling of your new self is ultimately about developing a new emotional and mental baseline. Over time, as you repeatedly return to the feeling of your desired self, it will become your default state. You will no longer have to consciously think about it. It will be who you are. In the journey of self-improvement, setbacks are inevitable. They are not indicators of failure, nor do they signify that you should abandon your efforts. Instead, setbacks should be viewed as signs, guides along the path of your personal transformation. These obstacles are opportunities for growth and learning, signals that offer valuable insight into the areas of your life that require more attention, refinement, or a different approach. When you perceive setbacks as signs rather than stop signs, you empower yourself to move forward with greater clarity, resilience, and determination. A setback often feels discouraging because it disrupts the progress we expect to make. It challenges our plans and tests our commitment to change. However, when we shift our perspective, we can see that setbacks serve a crucial purpose. They reveal hidden weaknesses, limiting beliefs, or habits that are still present within us, which may have gone unnoticed if the journey had been smooth and effortless. The setback acts as a mirror, reflecting back to us the areas of our mind and behavior that are out of alignment with our desired self. By recognizing this, we can approach each setback as an opportunity to recalibrate and adjust. It's important to remember that growth is not a linear process. Personal transformation involves a constant ebb and flow, with moments of rapid progress followed by periods of stagnation or even regression. This is a natural part of the journey, not a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. Setbacks often occur just as you are on the verge of a breakthrough. The discomfort and frustration they bring can serve as a sign that you are pushing the boundaries of your old self, challenging long-held patterns, and preparing to step into a new level of awareness and capability. One of the most valuable lessons setbacks offer is the opportunity to develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties and continue moving forward despite adversity. Each time you encounter a setback, you have the chance to strengthen your mental and emotional endurance. By seeing the setback as a sign rather than a stop sign, you cultivate the mindset of persistence and determination. You learn to pick yourself up, reassess the situation, and continue on your path with renewed focus. Over time, this ability to bounce back from setbacks becomes one of your greatest strengths. Viewing setbacks as signs also helps to reduce the emotional charge they often carry. When you interpret a setback as a failure, it can trigger feelings of disappointment, self-doubt, or frustration. These emotions can cloud your judgment and make it difficult to see the situation clearly. However, when you approach a setback with curiosity, seeing it as a sign pointing to something you need to learn or address, you can detach from the emotional weight of the situation. Instead of feeling defeated, you can focus on analyzing the setback objectively and identifying the lesson it holds. In many cases, setbacks occur because we are trying to force our desired outcome without fully addressing the internal changes required to sustain that outcome. For example, you may be striving to achieve a certain goal, but find yourself repeatedly encountering obstacles along the way. These obstacles could be signs that there are limiting beliefs or subconscious fears that need to be resolved before you can move forward. Rather than seeing the setback as a roadblock, it becomes a signpost directing you inward, encouraging you to do the inner work necessary to align with your desired outcome. Setbacks also offer an opportunity to refine your strategy. Often we approach self-improvement with a specific plan in mind, expecting that if we follow that plan, we will achieve our desired results. However, the path to growth is rarely so straightforward. A setback may be a sign that your current approach is not the most effective one, and that a different strategy is needed. This requires flexibility and openness to change. Rather than becoming rigidly attached to a particular method, you must be willing to adapt and experiment until you find the approach that works best for you. Another important aspect of seeing setbacks as signs is recognizing that they are part of the natural cycle of growth. Just as in nature, where seasons of growth are followed by periods of dormancy or decline, personal growth follows a similar pattern. After a period of expansion or progress, it is normal to experience a setback or slow down. This does not mean that you are regressing. Rather, it is a sign that you are consolidating the gains you have made and preparing for the next phase of growth. Understanding this cyclical nature of progress helps to reduce the frustration and impatience that often accompany setbacks. It's also essential to view setbacks as a sign of your own evolving awareness. As you grow and change, your perception of what constitutes a setback will also evolve. What may have seemed like a significant obstacle in the past might, in hindsight, be recognized as a minor detour or even a blessing in disguise. This shift in perspective is a sign of your increasing self-awareness and emotional maturity. As you continue on your journey, you will become more adept at recognizing the hidden opportunities within setbacks, allowing you to navigate them with greater ease and confidence. Seeing setbacks as signs rather than stop signs also empowers you to take responsibility for your own progress. When you view a setback as a stop sign, you may be tempted to externalize the cause, blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for your difficulties. However, when you interpret a setback as a sign, you take ownership of the situation. You recognize that you have the power to respond to the setback in a constructive way and to use it as a catalyst for further growth. This shift in mindset transforms setbacks from obstacles into stepping stones on your path to self-improvement. In this way, setbacks become not only signs of areas that need attention, but also indicators of your own progress. Each setback you encounter and successfully navigate is evidence of your growth. It shows that you are willing to face challenges, learn from them, and continue moving forward. Over time, these experiences build your confidence and reinforce your belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. Setbacks, rather than being sources of frustration or disappointment, become integral parts of your journey, shaping you into the person you are becoming. By adopting this mindset, you create a positive feedback loop in which each setback fuels further growth and progress. Success, in its truest form, is not merely the achievement of external goals, but a state of consciousness. It is the mindset and the feeling you cultivate within yourself that determines whether you will experience success in the world around you. To truly manifest the life you desire, it is essential to surround yourself with a consciousness of success, immersing your mind, thoughts, emotions, and environment in the energy of achievement and fulfillment. This is not about faking it or forcing success, but about aligning your internal state so deeply with the idea of success that it becomes a natural extension of who you are. The consciousness of success begins with a clear understanding of what success means to you personally. Success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It differs from person to person. For some, it might mean financial abundance, while for others, it could be about achieving a sense of purpose, fulfillment, or peace. To surround yourself with the consciousness of success, you must first define what success looks and feels like for you. Once you have that clarity, you can begin to cultivate the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are aligned with that vision. The next step is to fill your mind with thoughts that are congruent with the success you desire. Your thoughts shape your reality, and if your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, or self-sabotaging beliefs, you will struggle to manifest success in any area of your life. Surrounding yourself with the consciousness of success means deliberately choosing thoughts that support and reinforce your vision. This is an active process. It requires vigilance and mental discipline. Throughout the day, you must become aware of any negative or limiting thoughts that arise and consciously replace them with affirmations of success, abundance, and capability. This internal dialogue is critical because your subconscious mind is constantly being influenced by the thoughts you entertain. If you repeatedly think about failure, lack, or limitations, your subconscious will accept these ideas as truth, and they will manifest in your outer world. On the other hand, when you consistently think thoughts of success, your subconscious mind begins to align with that reality. It starts to believe that success is inevitable, and as a result, you begin to act, feel, and respond to life in ways that are conducive to achieving your goals. But surrounding yourself with a consciousness of success goes beyond just thinking positive thoughts. You must also feel successful. Your emotions are a powerful indicator of your current state of consciousness. If you are constantly feeling anxious, insecure, or defeated, these emotions are signals that you are not in alignment with the consciousness of success. To shift your emotional state, you must practice embodying the feeling of success. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already successful? Would you feel confident, at peace, excited, or grateful? Whatever the answer is, practice cultivating those emotions daily, even if your external circumstances have not yet caught up to your internal state. A powerful way to foster the feeling of success is through visualization. Spend time each day vividly imagining yourself as the successful person you aspire to be. See yourself living in your desired reality, experiencing the fulfillment of your goals, and interacting with the world from a place of confidence and achievement. Visualization is more than just wishful thinking. It is a tool that helps impress the consciousness of success upon your subconscious mind. The more detailed and emotionally charged your visualization, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. Over time, this practice will help you feel as though success is already yours, which in turn will influence your actions and decisions in ways that bring your vision into reality. In addition to cultivating success within your mind and emotions, it is important to surround yourself with external influences that reinforce the consciousness of success. This includes the people you associate with, the environment you live and work in, and the media you consume. The energy of success is contagious, and by placing yourself in environments that reflect success, you naturally begin to absorb that energy. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, uplift you, and support your goals. Avoid spending too much time with individuals who are negative, discouraging, or stuck in a mindset of lack and limitation. While you can't always control every aspect of your environment, you do have the power to choose where you direct your focus and energy. Your physical environment also plays a role in supporting the consciousness of success. Take a look at the spaces you spend the most time in your home, your office, or even your car. Do they reflect the energy of success, or do they feel cluttered, chaotic, or uninspiring? Creating an environment that reflects the success you desire can have a profound impact on your mindset. Simple changes, such as decluttering your workspace, decorating with items that inspire you, or organizing your home in a way that feels peaceful and productive, can help shift your energy towards success. Another powerful way to reinforce the consciousness of success is to study and learn from those who have already achieved the kind of success you seek. Read books, listen to podcasts, or watch interviews of successful individuals who embody the traits and qualities you wish to cultivate. Pay attention not only to their external achievements, but also to their mindset, habits, and beliefs. Notice how they talk about themselves and their journey, and how they navigate challenges and setbacks. By immersing yourself in the stories and experiences of successful people, you begin to internalize the consciousness that allowed them to succeed. The consciousness of success is also about the actions you take. While mindset and emotions are critical, they must be backed by consistent, intentional action. When you are aligned with the consciousness of success, your actions naturally flow from that state of being. You begin to take bold, confident steps toward your goals rather than hesitating or doubting yourself. Even when challenges arise, you respond from a place of empowerment, knowing that success is not only possible but inevitable. It is also important to practice patience and persistence as you surround yourself with the consciousness of success. Success is not an overnight process, and there will be times when progress seems slow or obstacles appear in your path. However, when you are anchored in the consciousness of success, you maintain a sense of inner certainty, even in the face of temporary setbacks. You trust that, as long as you stay aligned with your vision, continue to take inspired action, and cultivate the feeling of success, the results will follow. One of the most profound aspects of surrounding yourself with the consciousness of success is that it creates a ripple effect in your life. As you embody success within yourself, you begin to attract opportunities, resources, and people who resonate with that energy. The more deeply you surround yourself with the consciousness of success, the more effortlessly success begins to manifest in your external reality. It is a self-reinforcing cycle. The more you think, feel, and act like a successful person, the more success you experience. And the more success you experience, the more you strengthen the consciousness of success within you. This continuous feedback loop of success consciousness not only brings you closer to your goals, but also transforms how you experience life. When success becomes a state of being, you find fulfillment not just in the achievement of specific outcomes, but in the journey itself. Every step you take, every challenge you overcome, and every moment of growth becomes a reflection of the success you have cultivated within. To act now is to fully immerse yourself in the present moment, and to trust the process is to believe that the actions you take today will lead you to your desired outcome. These two principles are intertwined because they speak to the essential nature of faith and commitment in any journey of self-improvement, growth, or manifestation. When you act now, you are demonstrating your trust not only in yourself, but in the unseen forces that guide your efforts toward fulfillment. You are saying to the universe, "I am ready," and through this readiness, you create momentum that propels you toward your goals. The first part of this equation, acting now, demands that you step into the space of immediate action. Often we delay taking action because of fear, doubt, or uncertainty. We want to wait until we have more information, until circumstances feel perfect, or until we believe we are ready. But in waiting, we miss the opportunity that exists in the present. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment to begin. Life in its infinite complexity is always in motion, and if you wait for perfection, you will find yourself in perpetual inaction. To act now is to release the need for certainty and to embrace the power of decisive movement. It means that you are willing to take a step forward, even when you do not have the full picture or when the outcome seems unclear. By moving now, you invite clarity through action. In many cases, the very act of moving forward reveals the next step, a step that could not have been seen from the place of inaction. This is a fundamental truth in the journey of self-creation. Action is the key that unlocks doors that would otherwise remain hidden. Furthermore, acting now is an acknowledgement that you are already capable, that you already possess everything within you to begin the process of transformation. You may not have all the skills, knowledge, or resources that you believe you need, but you do have the ability to start. And starting is the most important part of any journey. Once you take that initial step, you activate the energy of forward motion, and with each subsequent step, you build momentum. This momentum then carries you through challenges and obstacles that may arise along the way. Trusting the process, on the other hand, is about releasing control over the specifics of how your journey will unfold. When you act, you are taking responsibility for the parts of your journey that are within your control, your choices, your focus, your dedication. But the process itself, the unfolding of events, is often beyond your control. Trusting the process means having faith that the universe, life, or whatever higher power you believe in, will support your efforts and guide you toward your ultimate destination, even if the path is winding and unpredictable. One of the most challenging aspects of trusting the process is accepting that results may not come immediately. In a world that values instant gratification, we have been conditioned to expect quick returns for our efforts. However, true transformation takes time. The seeds you plant today may not bear fruit for weeks, months, or even years. This is why trust is essential. Without trust, you may be tempted to abandon your path when results do not appear as quickly as you hoped. Trusting the process allows you to stay committed, even when the external evidence of success has yet to materialize. Trusting the process also involves embracing uncertainty. When you take action toward a goal, you are stepping into the unknown. There are no guarantees, and the outcome may not look exactly as you envisioned. But uncertainty is not something to be feared. It is an inherent part of the creative process. In fact, uncertainty often leads to opportunities and outcomes that are even better than what you originally imagined. By trusting the process, you open yourself up to these possibilities and allow life to guide you in ways that are aligned with your highest good. It is also important to recognize that setbacks, challenges, and obstacles are part of the process. They are not signs that you should give up, but rather opportunities for growth and refinement. Every challenge you face on your journey is a chance to learn, adapt, and strengthen your resolve. Trusting the process means understanding that these challenges are not roadblocks, but stepping stones that will ultimately lead you to success. It is through overcoming difficulties that you build the character, resilience, and wisdom necessary to sustain the success you seek. When you act now and trust the process, you are aligning yourself with the flow of life. Life itself is dynamic, always changing and evolving, and when you take action with trust, you become a co-creator with this flow. You are no longer working against the natural rhythms of growth and expansion, but rather moving in harmony with them. This state of flow allows you to navigate your journey with greater ease and less resistance, because you are not forcing outcomes or trying to control every detail. Instead, you are allowing the process to unfold in its own time, knowing that everything is working in your favor. In addition, trusting the process enables you to let go of the fear of failure. Often the fear of failure paralyzes us and prevents us from taking action. But when you trust the process, you understand that there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. Every result, whether it aligns with your expectations or not, provides valuable information that helps you grow and adjust your approach. Trusting the process allows you to see failures as part of the learning curve, and it gives you the courage to continue moving forward despite temporary setbacks. It is also worth noting that trusting the process does not mean being passive or waiting for things to happen to you. Trusting the process is an active state of faith. It requires you to continue taking steps toward your goals, even when the path ahead is unclear. You must still show up, put in the effort, and do the work. But in doing so, you release attachment to specific outcomes and trust that the right outcomes will manifest in their own time. Another important aspect of trusting the process is patience. In a culture that celebrates quick wins and instant success, it can be difficult to remain patient when results take time to manifest. But patience is a vital component of charm success. The greatest achievements often require the longest periods of cultivation, and by practicing patience, you give yourself the space to grow into the person who can fully embody the success you seek. Patience also allows you to enjoy the journey, rather than constantly fixating on the destination. When you act now and trust the process, you are practicing a form of surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of releasing the need for control, and allowing life to guide you toward your highest potential. This surrender is not passive, it is an empowered state of being where you are fully engaged in the present moment, taking inspired action, and trusting that the universe is conspiring in your favor. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a co-creator of your reality. Trusting the process builds inner confidence. When you trust the process, you are not reliant on external validation to confirm your success. Instead, you develop a deep inner knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. This inner confidence becomes a source of strength that sustains you through the ups and downs of your journey. It allows you to remain focused and determined, even when the results are not immediately visible. In every step of your journey toward self-improvement, you must recognize the incredible power you possess. The seed of change begins within you, and the responsibility for shaping your reality rests in your hands. By defining your desired self with precision and persisting in the feeling of that new identity, you set the foundation for transformation. Along the way, setbacks are not stop signs, but valuable signs that guide your growth, teaching you lessons that help refine your path. Surrounding yourself with the consciousness of success and trusting the process as you act with conviction opens the doors to infinite possibilities. Ultimately, the only way to start self-improvement is by recognizing that the journey begins now within you, through you. Trust in the unseen forces, act with purpose, and commit to becoming the best version of yourself. The path may be unpredictable, but by embodying the principles of deliberate action, faith, and resilience, you are certain to manifest the life you seek. Picture this: your phone rings, and the name you've been waiting for appears. That moment, that call, it's closer than you think, much closer than you realize. There's no need for pleading, hoping, or waiting, because the key to making that call happen lies entirely within you. To truly embody the belief that the call has already happened, you need to engage in a state of mind where the desired event feels as real as any current experience. This approach draws on the power of assumption and imagination to bridge the gap between longing and fulfillment. Begin by visualizing the moment in vivid detail. Picture the exact scenario: the phone ringing, the name or number flashing on the screen, and the emotions that flood through you when you realize it's them. This imagery isn't just a fleeting mental picture, it's an invitation for your senses to participate fully. Imagine hearing the ringtone, feeling the phone in your hand, and seeing their name on the display. The more real these sensory details become, the more powerfully they imprint on your mind and begin to shape your reality. When you assume the call has already happened, you're not indulging in mere wishful thinking. Instead, you're shifting into the experience of already having received what you desire. This shift requires you to hold that state of fulfillment consistently and confidently, regardless of external appearances. It involves a commitment to align with this new perspective, one where doubt is replaced by certainty. By grounding yourself in this conviction, you remove any separation between where you are and where you wish to be. You're no longer waiting for the call. Instead, you're living in a reality where it's already occurred. Maintaining this belief involves engaging in a practice of gratitude. In this imagined scenario where the call has already come, take a moment to feel thankful. Gratitude is a powerful emotion that not only enhances your state of mind, but also amplifies the energy around your assumption. You feel genuine appreciation for the call, as though it's an event you're currently experiencing. Allow this gratitude to sink in and become part of your everyday routine. Each time you express thanks for the call, you strengthen the reality of it within your mind, bringing it closer to manifestation. Another vital component of assuming the call has already happened is monitoring your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the thoughts that surface throughout the day. When doubts or contradictory thoughts arise, gently redirect them. Remind yourself that the call has already occurred and adjust any internal language that suggests otherwise. For instance, instead of thinking, "I hope they'll call," replace this with, "I'm so glad they reached out." By rephrasing these thoughts, you reshape your internal dialogue to reflect the reality you're creating. With repetition, this habit builds a strong foundation of belief and minimizes mental resistance. It's also helpful to align your actions with this assumption. Imagine how you'd act if the call had already taken place. How would you feel? How would you carry yourself? When you embrace this feeling as a lived reality, you start behaving in ways that resonate with it. For example, you might feel lighter, more relaxed, or more confident, as though the burden of waiting has lifted. Acting as if the call has already happened reinforces your assumption, creating a positive feedback loop between belief and behavior. Incorporating small daily rituals can further strengthen this assumption. Try dedicating a few minutes each day to relive the experience of receiving the call. Choose a quiet place, close your eyes, and vividly recall every detail of the imagined moment. Breathe into the feeling of fulfillment, letting it settle deeply within you. This exercise not only reinforces your assumption, but also trains your mind to stay in alignment with the outcome you desire. Another method to deepen your assumption is journaling. Write about the call as if it already took place. Describe your emotions, your reaction, and any conversation you imagine taking place. The act of writing engages both your mind and body, anchoring the experience in reality. Use present or past tense language, such as "today they called," and "it felt incredible," or "I remember when I saw their name on my screen." By doing this regularly, you create a tangible connection to your assumption, reinforcing the reality of the call. Remember that true assumption is a state of inner knowing that doesn't waver based on appearances. There may be no external proof that the call has happened, yet in your mind it is already a certainty. The more you strengthen this conviction, the more real it becomes. Each time you feel a hint of doubt or impatience, return to this imagined reality, anchoring yourself in the feeling that the call is already part of your life. When you choose to focus solely on the outcome, you align yourself completely with your desired result. This process requires a single-minded focus, where all your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are directed toward the realization of that outcome. Focusing solely on the outcome means letting go of the how and when of the manifestation. Often we fall into the trap of overthinking, questioning, or doubting the process because we don't see immediate results. This doubt and concern can dilute the power of our intention, creating unnecessary obstacles. By concentrating on the final outcome alone, you eliminate these potential roadblocks and create a clear path for your desire to manifest without interference. To focus on the outcome is to become fully absorbed in the state of already having what you want. It's about embodying the feeling that your goal is already achieved, allowing this sense of fulfillment to take root within you. Imagine for a moment that you've already received that call, that opportunity, or that relationship. Visualize it with vivid clarity. The more you bring your attention to this completed vision, the more your mind and emotions begin to align with it. This isn't merely about envisioning it occasionally, but about nurturing this state consistently, allowing it to shape your everyday thoughts and actions. One effective way to maintain a focus on the outcome is through visualization. Spend a few minutes each day picturing your desired result as if it's already part of your reality. If it's a phone call you're waiting for, imagine that it's already happened, that you've already had the conversation, and that it went exactly as you wanted. Engage all your senses in this visualization, see the details, hear the tone of the voice, feel the satisfaction. The more realistic your visualization, the more powerful its impact on your subconscious mind. Through repeated visualization, your mind begins to interpret this desired reality as something that's already achieved. Focusing solely on the outcome also means cultivating a sense of unwavering faith. It requires a deep trust in the process, a knowing that what you desire is already in motion, even if you can't see it yet. Faith in the outcome strengthens your ability to stay aligned with it, as it removes the need for constant reassurance or visible signs. Instead of needing external confirmation, you derive your certainty from within, understanding that the journey will unfold exactly as it should. This faith allows you to focus without distraction, creating an internal environment that is open and receptive to your desire. It's natural for doubts to arise, but when they do, redirect your mind gently back to the outcome. Avoid overthinking the mechanics of how it will happen or what steps need to occur. When you focus on the how, you shift your attention away from the final goal and back onto the obstacles that lie between you and your desired result. Remember, the universe has countless ways to bring your desire to you, often through paths you may not expect. When you focus only on the outcome, you allow these possibilities to unfold naturally, without imposing limitations on how they should appear. To reinforce your focus, use affirmations that are specific to the outcome you want. For example, if your goal is to receive a particular phone call, affirm statements like, "I am so happy and grateful now that I've received the call." By consistently repeating these affirmations, you keep your mind anchored to the end result. Each time you affirm, you strengthen your focus and reduce mental resistance, making it easier to stay centered on the outcome. Engaging in positive self-talk can also be a powerful tool. Remind yourself of why you want this outcome and what it will feel like once it's achieved. This mental rehearsal helps solidify the outcome in your mind, creating a mental pathway that leads directly to it. With each reminder, you bring yourself back into alignment with your goal, minimizing distractions and reinforcing your commitment to the final result. Additionally, focusing solely on the outcome requires you to let go of any limiting beliefs that may contradict it. Often we unknowingly harbor beliefs that conflict with our desires, such as thoughts of unworthiness, fear of success, or doubt about the possibility of achieving it. Recognize and release these beliefs as soon as they surface, replacing them with affirmations that reinforce your ability to manifest your goal. By clearing away these mental barriers, you create a mental environment that fully supports your focus on the outcome. Practice gratitude as though your outcome has already been achieved. Gratitude is a potent force that can enhance your focus on the final result. By expressing thanks for something you desire, as if you already possess it, you activate a mindset of abundance rather than lack. You feel genuine appreciation for the outcome and carry this gratitude into your everyday life. It reinforces the notion that what you want is not separate from you, but is something you already possess. Another technique to maintain focus is journaling about the outcome in the present tense. Write entries as if the outcome has already occurred, detailing your thoughts, emotions, and the specifics of the experience. The act of writing engages your senses and solidifies the vision in your subconscious, making it easier to stay focused on it. This journaling practice strengthens the sense that your desired outcome is real, accessible, and already part of your life. When you commit to focusing solely on the outcome, you bring all your energy, thoughts, and emotions into alignment with what you want. You eliminate distractions, doubts, and fears, creating a direct path for your desire to manifest. Each moment spent in this focused state brings you closer to your goal, allowing your thoughts and intentions to serve as powerful magnets that draw your desired reality into your life. To release doubts and fears is to free yourself from the inner resistance that can block your desired outcome from manifesting. Doubts and fears are natural emotions, but they can also create an energy of contradiction, pushing away what you seek. To move toward your goal effectively, you must identify and release these inner obstacles. When you allow doubts to linger, you create tension within, sending mixed signals to your subconscious. These mixed signals dilute tension, making it difficult for the desired outcome to manifest. By actively releasing doubts and fears, you create a clear, harmonious path for what you want to become part of your reality. The first step in releasing doubts and fears is recognizing them. Take time to identify the specific thoughts that hold you back, such as what if it doesn't happen, or am I truly capable of achieving this? These questions may seem harmless, but they carry energy that subtly undermines your confidence. Once you identify these doubts, don't judge or resist them, simply observe them as passing thoughts. Recognizing and accepting these thoughts without attachment is crucial, because fighting against them often intensifies them. When you can acknowledge doubts neutrally, you lessen their hold over you and begin the process of letting them go. Next, challenge the beliefs behind your doubts and fears. Often these feelings stem from limiting beliefs that have taken root in your subconscious over time. For example, you might doubt your ability to manifest a goal because you've internalized beliefs about unworthiness, scarcity, or past disappointments. Take a moment to question these beliefs. Ask yourself, is this belief truly valid? Or what evidence do I have that contradicts this thought? By consciously questioning the foundation of your doubts, you weaken their influence and start to build new, empowering beliefs that support your goals. Visualization can also be an effective technique for releasing doubts and fears. Picture yourself in a relaxed, peaceful place, free of worry or tension. In this visualization, imagine placing each of your doubts and fears into a container like a box or a balloon, and then visualize yourself releasing that container, allowing it to drift away. As you watch it disappear, feel a sense of relief and lightness within you, as though a burden has been lifted. Visualization allows your mind to experience the act of release, creating a tangible sense of freedom from doubts and fears. Replacing doubts and fears with empowering affirmations is another powerful tool. Whenever a doubtful thought arises, counter it with an affirmation that aligns with your desired outcome. For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, I don't think this will work, replace it with, I trust the process and know my outcome is on its way over time. These positive affirmations help rewire your mind, gradually diminishing the influence of doubts and reinforcing your belief in the possibility of success. Regularly practicing affirmations can reframe your mindset, shifting it away from fear and towards certainty. Gratitude is also a powerful antidote to doubt and fear. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you shift your attention away from lack and toward abundance. Practice gratitude each day, especially for the aspects of your life that align with your desired outcome. For example, if you're seeking more confidence, express gratitude for the moments you already feel confident. By focusing on what you already have, you build a positive energy that makes it easier to let go of doubts and fears. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's missing to what's already present, creating an environment where your desired outcome feels attainable. Breathwork and mindfulness practices can be especially helpful in moments when doubt or fear feels overwhelming. When a fearful thought arises, take a few deep breaths, focusing solely on the sensation of your breath. Breathe in deeply, filling your lungs, and then exhale slowly, imagining the doubt leaving your body with each breath. By connecting with the present moment through your breath, you calm the mind and release the mental clutter of fears and doubts. Mindfulness practices like these allow you to disengage from anxious thoughts and instead ground yourself in a state of calm awareness. Journaling can also help you release doubts and fears. Take a few minutes each day to write down your worries and doubts. Once they're on paper, examine them objectively. You might even find that some of these fears seem irrational or exaggerated once they're outside of your mind. Then rewrite each doubtful thought into a positive affirmation that supports your goals. This process of journaling allows you to observe your doubts without attachment and consciously transform them into thoughts that empower you. Another helpful approach is to remember that doubts and fears are often just protective mechanisms that your mind has developed over time. They're not necessarily reflections of reality, but rather attempts to keep you at a safe or familiar zone. When you recognize this, you can approach your fears with compassion instead of resistance. Rather than seeing them as barriers, view them as signals that can be transformed. Understanding that these emotions are not truths, but learned responses allows you to release them more readily. Trust in the process itself. Doubts and fears often stem from a desire to control every aspect of how a goal will manifest. However, true manifestation works best when you release the need to micromanage every detail. Trust that the universe, your subconscious, or whatever force you believe in, is working behind the scenes. Holding on to faith in the unseen elements of the journey allows you to let go of doubts and fears and remain centered on the positive outcome. With trust, you create space for your goal to manifest in its own way and time, free from the resistance that doubt and fear can bring. When you act as if your desired outcome is happening now, you bring a powerful alignment between your present actions, thoughts, and feelings and the reality you wish to create. This practice involves embodying the mindset, emotions, and behaviors associated with the achievement of your goal, as though it has already manifested. By acting as if it's happening now, you essentially shift from wishing for a future event to experiencing it in the present. And this mental and emotional shift signals to your subconscious that your goal is a real and tangible part of your life. This alignment transforms your energy, making you more receptive to opportunities, synchronicities, and insights that support your path. Acting as if also helps dissolve any gaps between you and your desired outcome. Often we unintentionally push away our goals by seeing them as distant or out there instead of integrated into our lives. When you act as though it's already happening, you close this perceived distance and create a sense of unity with your goal. In this state, you are no longer waiting for something external to change, but instead living as though it has already changed. This mindset frees you from the feeling of lack or anticipation, which can create resistance, and instead places you in a state of fulfillment and contentment. To embody this approach, start by imagining in detail how you would think, feel, and behave if your desire were already present in your life. For instance, if you're working toward a new career opportunity, envision yourself thriving in that position. Think about the confidence, enthusiasm, and sense of purpose you'd bring to each day. How would you dress, speak, or interact with others if you were already in this role? This exercise of visualization creates a mental rehearsal, helping you to adopt the attitudes and actions that align with your goal. Each time you visualize and then bring those behaviors into your present moment, you reinforce your belief that this desired state is not only possible but also actively unfolding. Physical actions can play a powerful role in this process as well. Consider taking small steps that reflect your desired outcome. If your goal is to become financially abundant, act as if you are already experiencing abundance by adopting mindful spending habits, practicing gratitude for the resources you have, or even engaging in small acts of generosity. When you make choices that align with an abundant mindset, you reinforce that abundance is already part of your reality. The same applies to other areas of life. If you want to feel more confident, carry yourself as a confident person would, make eye contact, and speak with self-assurance. In addition to behaviors, your inner dialogue is crucial when acting as if. Regularly affirm your desired reality to yourself in the present tense. Use statements like "I am" rather than "I will be." For example, if you're aiming for improved health, say to yourself, "I am vibrant, healthy, and full of energy," instead of "I hope to be healthier someday." This use of present tense affirmation sends a powerful message to your subconscious that this reality is already here, reducing any sense of separation between you and the outcome. Each affirmation you repeat strengthens your conviction, making it easier to internalize the feeling of having achieved your goal. Acting as if also involves cultivating emotions that resonate with your desired reality. Emotions are a key driver in the manifestation process, as they bring intensity and conviction to your thoughts. If you can evoke the joy, gratitude, or excitement you'd feel when your goal is accomplished, you create a powerful emotional frequency that draws your desire closer. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly and imagine the joy or satisfaction of your goal as if it's happening now. Allow yourself to feel this emotion fully, immersing yourself in the sensations it brings. This emotional rehearsal makes your desired reality feel not only possible but also natural. It's equally important to hold yourself accountable to this practice by noticing any moments when you drift into old patterns of doubt, lack, or impatience. Acting as if requires consistency, so each time you catch yourself worrying about when your goal will manifest, gently redirect your focus back to the present moment. Remind yourself that by embodying the experience now, you are actively shaping your reality. This redirection helps you maintain alignment with your goal and reinforces your commitment to experiencing it as a present reality rather than a distant possibility. One way to keep your focus sharp is by creating an environment that reflects the desired change. For instance, if you're manifesting a new, inspiring workspace, begin by organizing or redecorating your current space as if it's already the dream environment. Surround yourself with items, visuals, or even scents that evoke the energy of your goal. By shaping your environment to mirror your entire intentions, you give yourself a continuous reminder that your desired reality is already within reach. This physical manifestation of your goal serves as a daily affirmation, helping you to act in alignment with your vision. Another helpful aspect of acting as if is engaging in routines or habits that would naturally flow from the reality you wish to create. If you're working toward a healthier lifestyle, implement habits such as regular exercise, nourishing meals, and mindful relaxation practices. These actions reinforce your belief that you are already a person who prioritizes health and wellness. Similarly, if you're manifesting a fulfilling relationship, practice kindness, empathy, and open communication in your existing relationships. By aligning your habits with your future self, you not only prepare for the outcome, but also make it feel more tangible and attainable. Ultimately, acting as if it's happening now is about stepping fully into your desired reality, making it a part of who you are rather than something you're chasing. Each thought, emotion, and action is infused with the essence of your goal, bringing you closer to its realization with every moment. When you immerse yourself in this state, you send a clear and powerful signal to the universe, affirming that you are ready and receptive to your desired reality. Using clear affirmations is a powerful way to align your thoughts and beliefs with your desired outcome, sending a consistent message to your subconscious mind and reinforcing your intentions. Clear affirmations act as anchors, helping you remain focused on your goals by affirming your belief in them as though they are already true. When you use affirmations that are specific, concise, and positive, you create a mental and emotional environment that makes your goals feel real, attainable, and present. This shift in perception not only enhances your confidence, but also encourages actions and decisions that align with your intended outcome. To make your affirmations effective, begin by crafting statements that are unambiguous and direct that the words you use should reflect exactly what you wish to experience. For instance, if you're aiming to manifest a fulfilling career, a clear affirmation would be, "I am thriving in a career that brings me joy, purpose, and abundance." Notice how this statement is specific in describing the feelings of joy, purpose, and abundance, which are key qualities of the desired outcome. Avoid vague phrases like "I hope to be happy in my career someday," as they lack immediacy and certainty. Specificity in your affirmations eliminates ambiguity, making your goal more tangible and achievable. Another essential aspect of clear affirmations is the use of present tense. Speaking as though your goal is already a reality helps bridge the gap between desire and experience. When you say, "I am successful and confident in all I do," you affirm your success and confidence as present qualities, rather than distant possibilities. This present tense phrasing sends a powerful message to your subconscious that these attributes are part of who you are right now. When your mind begins to accept these traits as present truths, it becomes easier to embody them in daily actions, reinforcing the reality you wish to create. Positive language is crucial for affirmations to work effectively. Affirmations should focus on what you want to experience, rather than what you're trying to avoid or overcome. For example, instead of saying, "I am no longer insecure," reframe it to say, "I am confident and secure in myself." This emphasis on positivity directs your focus toward empowering qualities, building a constructive mindset that supports your goals. Positive affirmations energize and uplift you, making it easier to believe in your vision and to remain motivated as you work toward it. When repeating affirmations, it's helpful to attach emotion to each statement. Simply reciting words won't yield the same impact as genuinely feeling the affirmation's truth. Take a moment to connect with the emotion that your affirmation brings up. If your affirmation is, "I am worthy of love and respect," let yourself feel the warmth and confidence that comes from that statement. The emotion infuses the affirmation with energy, making it more powerful and effective. This emotional resonance strengthens the message, as your subconscious mind responds more readily to feelings than to words alone. Consistency is another key element in using clear affirmations. The more frequently you repeat your affirmations, the more they will become ingrained in your thought patterns. Daily repetition helps reinforce the desired beliefs, gradually transforming your mindset to align with your goals. Consider repeating your affirmations each morning upon waking or each night before sleep, as these times are when your mind is most receptive. Consistent practice turns your affirmations into a natural part of your inner dialogue, reinforcing a mindset of positivity and possibility throughout the day. Visualization can enhance the power of affirmations by adding a sensory experience to the practice. When you affirm, "I am financially abundant," visualize yourself in situations where you feel financially secure and abundant. Imagine the freedom and satisfaction that this abundance brings, and see yourself confidently managing your finances. This visualization adds depth to your affirmation, making it feel real and achievable. By combining words with mental imagery, you create a multidimensional experience that reinforces the belief you're aiming to cultivate. Affirmations should also feel authentic and true to you. If an affirmation feels too unrealistic or far-fetched, adjust it to a version that resonates more with your current beliefs. For instance, if "I am a millionaire" feels hard to believe, start with "I am on my way to financial abundance." Over time, as you build confidence and see progress, you can expand your affirmations to reflect bigger goals. This gradual approach ensures that your affirmations feel genuine and believable, creating a stronger mental and emotional connection to them. One technique to amplify the impact of affirmations is to pair them with gratitude. When you express gratitude in your affirmations, you acknowledge the positive aspects of your life while affirming your goals. For instance, "I am grateful for my growing confidence," and resilience combines appreciation with affirmation, reinforcing your focus on growth and positivity. Gratitude shifts your mindset to one of abundance, reducing feelings of lack or scarcity and making it easier to believe in your affirmations. This gratitude-based approach encourages a mindset that's open and receptive to positive change. Using clear affirmations also requires an open and receptive attitude. Be willing to accept your affirmations as true, even if they don't immediately feel natural. Let go of self-doubt or skepticism that may arise when you first begin the practice. It's normal to encounter resistance when affirming new beliefs, especially if they differ from long-standing self-perceptions. Approach each affirmation with an open mind, allowing yourself to grow into the person these statements describe. Embrace the journey, trusting that with time and commitment, your affirmations will shape your mindset and transform your reality. Remember that affirmations are a tool for building confidence, not a substitute for action. When you affirm qualities like resilience, confidence, or success, take steps in your life that reflect these attributes. If your affirmation is, "I am a focused and productive person," implement habits that support focus and productivity. Detaching from timing is a powerful practice in manifesting any goal, allowing you to release the pressure and impatience that often accompany desires. When we focus heavily on when something will happen, we unknowingly create resistance by reinforcing a sense of lack or incompleteness. By letting go of the need to know the exact timing of an outcome, you open yourself up to a sense of trust and flow, which allows the manifestation process to unfold more naturally. Detachment from timing doesn't mean that you no longer care about your goal, rather. It means you're at peace with its inevitable arrival, regardless of when it comes. When you detach from timing, you shift your focus from the unknown when to the present moment, where you have the most influence. Rather than obsessing over a future result, you can redirect your energy toward what you can do right now to support your desired outcome. For example, if you're manifesting a new job, focus on developing skills, networking, and preparing yourself to thrive in that role when it arrives. This shift in focus enables you to feel productive and engaged in the present rather than anxious about the future. By staying grounded in the present, you create a space of calm that naturally attracts the outcome you seek without the weight of impatience. Detachment from timing also fosters a mindset of abundance. Often impatience is rooted in a scarcity mentality, the fear that if your goal doesn't happen soon, it might not happen at all. By releasing this fear and embracing a mindset that believes in limitless possibilities, you remind yourself that there is no shortage of opportunities or positive outcomes in life. This abundance mindset assures you that everything is unfolding in its perfect time, allowing you to relax and trust that what is meant for you will arrive when you're truly ready to receive it. Cultivating detachment from timing also requires a deep sense of trust in the process. When you're deeply connected to a goal, it can be tempting to micromanage every detail, hoping to accelerate its arrival. However, when you try to control the timing, you may unintentionally create stress and even overlook opportunities that could naturally lead you closer to your goal. Trusting in the timing of your life means believing that every delay, every twist, and every turn is ultimately guiding you toward what's best. By letting go of the how and when, you allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised by the unexpected ways in which your desires unfold. Practicing detachment also involves recognizing that the journey itself has value. The path to your goal often teaches you invaluable lessons and helps you grow into the person who is ready to receive it. If you rush the process or force things to happen before their time, you might miss out on these lessons and the personal development that makes achieving the goal truly fulfilling. For example, someone manifesting a meaningful relationship might use the time spent waiting to work on self-love and emotional maturity. By embracing the journey, you build the foundation needed for a lasting and successful outcome. A helpful way to cultivate detachment is to focus on the feeling of your goal rather than the specifics of timing. Instead of stressing over when it will happen, focus on how you want to feel when it does. This shift from external conditions to internal feelings empowers you to access the joy, peace, or excitement associated with your goal right now. For instance, if your goal is financial abundance, think about the freedom and security you desire. Seek ways to feel these emotions today, whether through gratitude for your current resources or by creating small habits that give you a sense of financial empowerment. Another way to detach from timing is to release any expectations about the form your goal should take or the exact path it should follow. When we fixate on a rigid vision of how something must happen, we limit ourselves to a narrow set of possibilities. By remaining open to all potential outcomes, you allow the universe to bring your goal in ways that might surpass your expectations. This flexibility in approach helps you to remain calm and open, knowing that even if the manifestation looks different from what you initially imagined, it can still fulfill or exceed your desires. Detachment is also strengthened by practicing gratitude. When you focus on what you already have, you naturally reduce the sense of urgency for future outcomes. Gratitude anchors you in the present and shifts your attention to the abundance that exists here and now. This practice doesn't diminish your desire for more. It simply helps you to feel whole and fulfilled without relying on any single outcome to make you happy. With gratitude, you become less attached to a specific timeline because you're already experiencing a sense of satisfaction and contentment. Embracing the concept of divine timing can bring comfort when detaching from your goal's timeline. Divine timing suggests that things happen at precisely the right moment, in alignment with a greater wisdom or higher purpose. Trusting in divine timing reminds you that there is a purpose behind every delay, every unexpected turn, and every moment of waiting. This trust allows you to relax, knowing that if your goal hasn't manifested yet, there's a reason, and that reason is ultimately working in your favor, whether to bring something better or to prepare you for what's coming. One final method for practicing detachment is to maintain a sense of playfulness and curiosity. When you approach your goals with a spirit of exploration, you view each step as an adventure rather than a race to the finish line. This mindset reduces pressure and keeps you open to unexpected outcomes, making the journey itself enjoyable and rewarding. Curiosity replaces impatience with wonder, allowing you to embrace each moment as it comes without needing to know exactly what the future holds. With a playful approach, you'll find that your attachment to timing naturally loosens, and your goals begin to feel like exciting possibilities rather than rigid expectations. Staying open and receptive is essential in the process of manifesting your desires, as it allows you to create space for opportunities, ideas, and inspirations that may come in unexpected ways. When you're truly open, you're willing to accept the possibility that your desired outcome may arrive through a path you haven't anticipated. Openness helps dissolve rigid expectations about how things should happen, allowing you to flow with life's natural rhythms and align with opportunities that best serve your goals. By being receptive, you demonstrate trust in the process, showing that you're ready to embrace what life has to offer without limiting yourself to a specific route or outcome. To cultivate this openness, start by releasing any preconceived notions about how your goals must manifest. For example, if you're aiming to advance in your career, you might assume that a promotion in your current job is the only way forward. However, staying open allows you to consider new possibilities, such as networking with different professionals, exploring adjacent industries, or even considering roles you hadn't thought of before. When you remove the rigid structure around your expectations, you invite the universe to deliver your goal in the way that's most beneficial for you. Being receptive also involves developing a mindset that embraces change. Often, the manifestation of a goal requires us to adapt to new circumstances or to step outside our comfort zones. Rather than fearing change, view it as a vehicle for growth that brings you closer to your desires. For instance, if you're looking to deepen your relationships, openness may mean embracing new ways of communicating, trying activities that build connection, or becoming more vulnerable with others. Change might feel uncomfortable at first, but by staying receptive, you allow transformation to work in your favor, aligning you more closely with the experiences and people who can enrich your journey. Staying open also means letting go of control over the timing and specifics of your goal. When we try to control every detail, we often restrict ourselves to a limited version of what we believe is possible. In contrast, being open to new possibilities means that you trust the timing and are willing to let things unfold naturally. This openness to timing can bring unexpected breakthroughs or opportunities that might not have arisen had you stuck rigidly to your initial plan. Openness in this way acts as an invitation for abundance, showing that you are ready to receive what you need when the time is right, even if it doesn't look exactly as you'd envisioned. Another aspect of receptivity is learning to recognize signs, synchronicities, and intuitive nudges that may guide you toward your goal. Life often sends subtle signals that point us in the right direction, and when you're open, you're more likely to notice and act on these cues. Pay attention to repeated themes, ideas, or people that cross your path, as they might hold insights or opportunities relevant to your goal. For instance, if you're working toward financial independence and keep encountering books or conversations about investing, these may be signs that the universe is guiding you to develop new skills or knowledge in that area. Receptivity enables you to pick up on these subtle messages and take inspired action when it feels right. Staying open and receptive also requires a willingness to release resistance and self-doubt. When we doubt our ability to achieve our desires or resist the unknown, we often create mental and emotional blocks that prevent us from recognizing or seizing new opportunities. We practice mindfulness to become aware of any limiting beliefs or fears that may be holding you back and consciously choose to release them. Adopting an open mindset means trusting that you're worthy of receiving your desires and that there's a path for you, even if it's not immediately visible. By clearing away doubts and resistance, you allow yourself to receive fully, knowing that what you're seeking is within reach. Additionally, being open means welcoming feedback and adjusting your approach if needed. Sometimes, the journey to manifesting a goal involves learning and refining our strategies. Rather than seeing setbacks as failures, view them as feedback that can help you adjust your actions or mindset. For example, if you're trying to start a business and your first attempt doesn't go as planned, remain open to learning from the experience and adjusting your approach. Being receptive to constructive feedback or different perspectives allows you to evolve, ensuring that your efforts are aligned with the most effective path toward your desired outcome. Maintaining an attitude of gratitude can also support openness and receptivity. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you create a positive emotional state that attracts more things to be grateful for. Gratitude shifts your mindset from one of scarcity to abundance, helping you appreciate what you already have, while remaining open to receiving more. By focusing on the positive aspects of your current situation, you invite even greater experiences into your life, reinforcing a receptive attitude that says, I am grateful for what I have, and I am open to receiving even more. Another way to foster receptivity is by practicing patience. Manifestation doesn't always happen overnight, and sometimes the best results require time to unfold. Being patient doesn't mean passively waiting, it means staying committed to your goal, while allowing room for the timing and circumstances to align naturally. Patience allows you to avoid unnecessary frustration and remain in a state of trust. Instead of pushing for immediate results, remind yourself that everything is working behind the scenes, and by staying open and patient, you're allowing the process to unfold in the most harmonious way. Keep your mind and heart open to the concept of abundance and unlimited possibilities. An open mind believes that there's always more than one way to achieve a goal, and that the universe has infinite resources to bring forth what you desire. This abundance mindset encourages you to view every experience as a step toward your ultimate goal, no matter how small or indirect it may seem. By embracing the notion that there are countless paths to fulfillment, you allow yourself to relax and enjoy the journey, knowing that everything you need will come to you in due time. In bringing together all these expanded practices, you're crafting a powerful mindset that aligns deeply with your desires. Assuming the call has already happened, focusing solely on the outcome, and releasing doubts and fears create a solid foundation where your goals feel not just possible but inevitable. Acting as if it's happening now, and using clear affirmations fuel your journey with confidence and clarity, signaling to your mind and the universe alike that you are ready to receive. Detaching from timing and staying open and receptive further refine this approach, encouraging patience, trust, and openness to all possible avenues your goal may take to manifest. Each of these practices, when woven together, becomes more than a series of steps. It becomes a way of life, where you're not merely wishing for what you want, but actively creating the conditions for it to appear. By embodying these principles, you set yourself on a path where your desires move toward you as surely as you move toward them.